Let me tell you a story. It's one of the most jaw-dropping, edge-of-your-seat stories in the entire Bible, and most people have never even heard it. We're going way back, to a time when Israel was in a dark cycle. They'd forgotten God, trouble would come, they'd cry for help, and God would send a rescuer, a judge. This time, the enemy was a Canaanite king with a terrifying advantage, 900 iron chariots. Imagine facing the finest tanks of the ancient world, but you're a farmer with a rusty sword. The people were terrified, living in hiding for 20 years. And then, we meet her. Not in a palace war room, but under a palm tree. Her name is Deborah. And she's not a warrior's wife or a general's daughter. The Bible introduces her with 4 simple, earth-shattering titles. She was a prophetess, a judge, a wife, and a mother. That's it. In a time of national crisis, with iron chariots on the horizon, God's chosen leader was a mother sitting under a tree, settling disputes and hearing from God. Let that sink in. It's the first major twist. People from all over Israel came up to her there. They knew where to find wisdom. And one day, she gets a word from God. A clear, specific, military command. So she sends for a man named Barak. Now, Barak is the presumed military leader. He's the logical choice. Deborah lays out the entire battle plan. Go, lead your army to Mount Tabor. God will lure the enemy commander, Sisera, and his chariots to a riverbed, and I will hand him over to you. It's a divine guarantee. And here comes Barak's response, the second shocking twist. He looks at this fearless, godly woman and says, I'll only go, if you go with me. He's hesitant. He's afraid. The man with the army is negotiating with the mother under the palm tree. Deborah agrees to go, but she delivers a line that changes the course of history. Because of the way you are going about this, the honor will not be yours. The Lord will deliver Sisera into the hands of a woman. And here comes Barak's response, the second shocking twist. He looks at this fearless, godly woman and says, I'll only go, if you go with me. He's hesitant. He's afraid. The man with the army is negotiating with the mother under the palm tree. Deborah agrees to go, but she delivers a line that changes the course of history. Because of the way you are going about this, the honor will not be yours. The Lord will deliver Sisera into the hands of a woman. Now, everyone listening thinks, she means herself. Deborah will get the credit. But that's not how God's stories work. The twist is always bigger. The battle happens just as Deborah said. Barak's forces charge down Mount Tabor, and God throws Sisera's entire army into a panic. The mighty iron chariots become useless in the muddy riverbed. It's a rout. Sisera, the fearsome general, does the most shameful thing a warrior could do. He abandons his entire army, jumps down from his chariot, and runs for his life on foot. He runs until he comes to the tent of a man named Heber, who was at peace with his king. Exhausted, desperate, Sisera stumbles to the entrance. And there is Heber's wife, Jael. Jael meets him. She sees this bloodied, terrified commander. And she does what any good hostess in the desert would do. Come in, my lord, she says. Don't be afraid. She covers him with a rug to hide him. He's parched, and he asks for water. She doesn't just give him water. She goes above and beyond. She opens a skin of milk, the richest drink, and gives him that. Then she stands guard at the tent entrance as he, believing he is finally safe, falls into a dead sleep. The scene is almost peaceful. The warrior sleeps. The woman keeps watch. And then Jael makes a choice. She picks up a tent peg. Not a sword, not a spear. A simple, wooden tent peg, used to secure her home against the wind. And she picks up a hammer. She kneels beside the sleeping commander. In one terrible, decisive moment, she drives the peg through his temple and into the ground. When Barak arrives in pursuit, breathless from the chase, Jael comes out to meet him. "Come," she says, calmly. "I will show you the man you are looking for." And she takes him into her tent, where Sisera lies dead, the tent peg in his head. Deborah's prophecy was fulfilled. The enemy was delivered into the hands of a woman. But not the woman anyone expected. Now, before we unpack the bombshell this story drops into our lives today, I need to ask you a favor. If this story has grabbed your attention, if you're thinking, "I've never heard it like that," then please hit that like button. It tells YouTube this is the kind of deep, story-driven content you want to see more of. And if you're new here, consider subscribing. We do this every week, unpacking the Bible's most shocking stories in simple, powerful ways. It really helps. Thanks. So, what do we do with this? A mother, a timid general, and a tent-peg-wielding housewife. This isn't just ancient drama. This is a masterclass in how God works. First, God chooses the unlikely on purpose. He didn't raise up a warrior king. He spoke through a mother under a tree. He didn't use Barak's bold faith, he used Jael's startling courage. God loves to write stories where he is the obvious hero, so no one can boast. Are you feeling unlikely? Unqualified? Overlooked? Perfect. You are exactly the kind of person God loves to write into his story. Your tent peg, your ordinary skill, your quiet influence, your simple act of hospitality, is a weapon in his hands. Second, courage often looks like doing the next right thing in front of you. Jael didn't lead an army. She was presented with a desperate man at her door. She used what she had, her wits, her hospitality, and the tools of her everyday life. Your battlefield might not be a river valley. It might be your office, your kitchen, your classroom. The next right thing might be a word of truth, an act of kindness to an enemy, or a stand for justice when it's costly. Jael's story tells us that radical obedience happens right where we are. Third, and this is for anyone waiting for a Barak moment, God's promise is secure, but how we partner with it matters. Barak's "if you go with me" wasn't outright disobedience, it was hesitant, conditional obedience. And Deborah's reply shows us, God's plan will move forward, but our hesitation can change how we experience the victory. The promise was still won, but Barak shared the honor. Is there an area where God has spoken clearly, but you've been adding ifs and buts? This story is a gentle nudge to step out fully, before the moment passes. The story ends with a song. Deborah and Barak sing a duet of praise, and in it, they bless Jael, most blessed of women be Jael. She is immortalized in their victory song. Here's the takeaway for you and me today, God is still writing these kinds of stories. He's still looking for the unlikely. He's still providing courage for the next right step. And he's still turning the world's expectations upside down, not with an army, but with a tent peg. Your ordinary life, in his hands, is part of an extraordinary victory. If this look at Deborah, Barak, and Jael has sparked something in you, a new courage, a fresh sense that God can use you, let me know in the comments. Which character do you relate to the most right now? The one hearing from God, the one hesitating, or the one holding the tent peg? Don't forget to like this video if it helped you see this story new, and subscribe for more journeys into the Bible's most powerful stories. I'll see you in the next one.